Hello guys, welcome to Autolatest cars. Today we are driving the new Hyundai Inster. This is the smallest car, electric vehicle car on European market. It's a competitor for Dacia Spring, which is a Dongfeng Chinese car. But compared with that, this Inster from Hyundai, it's actually top of the line car from my point of view, because it has quite a big range. It has over almost 400 kilometers with the full battery. It's a 49 kilowatt hour battery pack. It's made in South Korea. The car is made in South Korea. The battery pack is made in South Korea, and this is the medium level called Highway Plus. It's a car that has of course 115 horsepower, 147 Newton meter, and of course the big battery, the 49 kilowatt hour battery, not the small battery with only 97 horsepower. The torque is the same like the 97 horsepower version, but this car, it's actually a very important thing. We are driving now outside we are getting off outside the town, and the speed increases at 80 kilometers an hour. Let's go to let's see how on the sport mode. Let's see how fast is it. 100. It could run with no problem. Let's go to eco mode. This is the normal drive speed of these electric cars on the highway. On the highway at highway speeds. Of course, this is not the optimal environment for this car, but I'm going to show you actually that this Inster, it's capable of driving with no problem on eco mode on the highway, where everybody will think that this is not possible. This is not okay, because the speed is too high for an small electric vehicle. Well, in the real life, Hyundai made a very important decision to put quite a very powerful engine on this small car, electric car. This is a city car. So Dacia Spring has only 65 horsepower. Hyundai Inster has 115 horsepower. So the torque, it's bigger than Inster. Of course, the car, it's bigger than a Dacia Spring, a Dongfeng Spring. It has 1,480 kilograms empty weight. It has room for four guys, which is it's enough from my point of view. But I'm going to show you now the driving experience of this car on the highway. We are following a truck at 80 kilometers an hour with no problem. Actually, the car is showing me that the system, the gearbox, it's in eco mode as a RPM, somehow an RPM, because that's an indicator of power, not of RPM. In eco mode, you can see down there, it's an eco mode. The range is still 387 kilometers. So this is the most important thing about this car, is that it's made to run 100% in the city driving. But today we are driving outside of city, because in the city you will have a real range of almost 500 kilometers. I'm not going to increase the speed. You see the highway, it's 80 kilometers now, because they are working on this part of this road, 60 kilometers an hour. We are driving 90 with no problem. So if you are driving in Germany on Autobahn, on the famous Autobahn, you will definitely have no problem, because you have a lot of Stau. Okay, this is eco mode. Let's see how powerful is this engine. So today I now have to put to stop the car, because the guy in front of me actually drives slower than my Hyundai electric vehicle Inster. Outside, it's a lot of wind. It's a lot of it's not such pleasant conditions, but the car still acts and feels quite beautiful. We are going to enter this parking lot to talk more about this, the design of the car, and actually the fact that Inster is not only a a city car. It's a normal car for normal people on European market. So if you have a Hyundai Inster, you definitely won't have any problems with this car driving it around the city, and of course around the city where on the highway speeds you definitely have quite big problems with other cars. Okay, first of all, we get off the car. The electric parking brake, it's on. You will see the interior. It's decent. It's a brand new car. It's only 500 kilometers. It's borrowed from our partner called Roadhill Automotive on the Romanian market. This is one of the biggest Hyundai dealer on Romanian market. The stoplights are quite high. They are put on as a design system quite high, because this car it's actually meant for city driving. So a lot of bumper hitting, and actually you have LED here with the stoplights and the fog lights. But the stoplights are down there. It's quite high. It's a quite high position. Of course, you'll have this. The exterior of this car looks like that. The chassis makes me remember in the Suzuki Wagoner. It's somehow a K car. From my point of view, this is a K car. This is made for city driving. This is made for only 4 people, but the inside of Inster it's quite enough. The car is started now. The engine is on. You have the headlights. They are halogen H7. They are not LED. You have the daylight running lights, and of course the car it's closed now. You have the turn signal. It's here, made with LED. Of course, no radiator grill, because this is an electric car. And of course, the fact that we are making this video on the highway, that means that the electric vehicles actually become very, very important personal transportation for a lot of Europeans, because they are very, very competent from my point of view. The tires are Nex and N Blue S. They are EV tires, and of course they should be very, very quiet even on the highway driving. You have some fenders here to protect the chassis, and of course the key is inside. So we have a big problem. No, the key is not inside. I'm outside, and the car actually it's okay. Let's open the car, and let's see in the back. This is room for only 2 people, but a lot of space. From my point of view, this is important. You have this plus trim on different markets. You will have a lot of gadgets to modify. As you can see, the stoplights are down there, because when you open the boot, the stoplights from the normal driving mode are off, are on the trees. The boot is like 280 liter. It's enough from my point of view. And after you close the boot, you will have this normal stoplights. Okay, the door is quite another thing that is important from my point of view. When we talk about Inster, you have a big door in the back. Compared with Dacia Spring, this is important, because the door it's extremely big, so it has a very useful. You have to, when you climb in, it's a very, very good position, and the car is not so high. But the build quality, of course, we have to talk about the build quality and why this car is better than the Dacia Spring, and even better than the Ford Puma. And I think a lot of Leap Motor T03 that it's a Chinese-made car, but they say it's going to be assembled in Europe, but it's not assembled in Europe. First of all, a lot of good quality materials to make this car very important and very, very good from all point of view. Compared with other cars, you don't have a place to put your hand, but you have a very strange cup holder. Okay, let's go inside. So we are inside. Of course, we are near the highway. The air conditioning system and the air conditioning, the ventilation, it's off because it's outside. It's enough. Okay, let's say we have 384 kilometers of range. We start the ventilation. As you can see, we start the ventilation. Let's start the air conditioning, and we lose almost 10 kilometers when you start the air conditioning, because this car doesn't have a heat pump, but it has somehow a heat pump, but that they say it runs quite good on even on cold climate. But this car is made for city, so it has a very complicated heated system with electric system. So the big battery, I think it's enough for a lot of you guys. Another thing that it's important, the car inside, actually it's quite it's like a Suzuki Wagoneer, electric Wagoneer. So if you like the 20 years ago the Wagoneer from Suzuki, or even Suzuki Ignis, even the Ignis that had an K-car form, this is the Inster, is the one. Of course it looks like a Deu Matiz that was also built on this market at Craiova plant, that now actually builds the Ford Kuga Gen E, the electric version of Kuga in Romania. But this car is made in South Korea, so it has a better build quality than any Ford, any Renault, any Peugeot, Citroen, and or VW car. So everybody is talking about the VW ID2. They talk about for 2 years now about the future VW ID2, and meantime in the last 2 years Hyundai actually asked the EV drivers, what would you like to be a small car? Well, I want to be cheap, so this is a 60,000 euro car in this market with a state incentive of 5,000 euro on average. So this car actually has a price tag almost 20,000 euros, around 20,000 euros, the entry level version. And we are driving now the Highway Plus, which is like 18,000 euros without rebate, but with the incentive from the government. So you will have almost 50 kilowatt hour battery. I want 400 kilometers of range. Okay, you got it. Okay, with 96% of the battery, you have 384. And of course, don't remember, we are driving on the highway, 120 kilometers an hour. So a normal driving, not 90 kilometers an hour behind the truck, like a lot of you guys with a lot of electric cars that actually are low cost from my point of view. Okay, let's get out of here, because there are a lot of guys that want to use this parking place for their truck, because we are to blame here, because we actually entered in a place where a lot of trucks are staying. Okay, this is the maneuverability of this car, which is quite beautiful from my point of view. It's quite decent, it's normal, and actually feels very good to drive this car. Okay, so I want a car that drives 400 kilometers. Okay, I want a car that it's around 20,000 euros. Okay, I want a car that it's reliable and doesn't have only 50 horsepower or 65 horsepower like Dacia Spring. It's okay. This is the Inster, 150 horsepower and 147 Newton meters. What else? I want a safe car. I think this car actually has a 3 or 4 stars Euro NCAP. I think I'm not sure about that, but of course in the comments you could correct me. I want a decent car. I want inside, I want a navigation system. I want an LCD glass cockpit, but I want buttons for the air conditioning. Okay, you got buttons. You got a lot of space. You got actually quite a lot of space, even though that this car has only 2 places. I think if you put something here, a kid could stay here, but it's illegal because it doesn't have seatbelt. But the space inside, it's quite decent. The width of the car is actually the problem. As you can see, my elbow strikes the B pillar. But besides that, inside it's quite decent. The position is quite good. The visibility is quite good. The big side mirrors, and of course a normal mirror, because everything should be very conventional. With this button you could start the car, and of course you have to have a normal rear view camera, and the build quality, it's utility from my point of view, but it's okay. Okay, let's talk about price tag. First of all, this car that I mean with the incentive, it's called Rabla on Romanian market. It's 18,200 euros with VAT included and the incentive is 5,000 euro. So on this car you have a 49 kilowatt hour battery, 150 horsepower. The level of equipment, it's highway plus. Of course you'll have 147 newton meters. The range estimated WLTP by Hyundai is 370, and I drove this car around 20 kilometers, so you have almost 400 in real life. Autonomy in urban area, it's 518 kilometers, which is wow for this car. Max speed 150. Of course you could go 130 with no problems, but actually the cruise speed of this car on the highway, it's like 120, 130, so it's enough, it's okay. And the 0-100 is 10.6 seconds, which is enough. The max weight is 1,410 kilograms, so I think it's okay. So this is 18,200, but the best buy, the most incredible one, it's called the Inster 42 kilowatt hour battery, 97 horsepower with the same newton meter on 147. You lose 1 second at 0-100, the same max speed. No, the speed was 150. You lose 10 kilometers an hour at max speed, and of course you have 327 kilometers of range. But this car with incentive is 60,000 euro. So with this price tag, actually Hyundai makes a statement is like, if you want a future VW ID2 go at Hyundai and buy the Inster. If you like more premium Dacia Duster with more powerful engine and only 3,000 or 4,000 euros more expensive, go and buy a Hyundai Inster. The difference between and of course this car actually competes with the Opel Corsa e-Corsa, which is quite incredibly expensive. Competes with the Renault E-Tech, Renault 5 E-Tech, that could go around 36,000 euros, which is crazy for a tiny little car. And in the back seat, the space is bigger in Inster than on a Renault 5, and of course they actually launched today the Renault 4 E-Tech, like 37,000 euro. This is or 40,000 euro with the same platform, the same battery, the same engine as the Renault 5 E-Tech. But you definitely should search on the French media. The Renault has a lot of problems with all E-Tech cars. Even they are called Megane, they are called Scenic, or even they are called Renault 5. Not Dacia with Spring, because Spring is a Chinese-made car and actually runs quite well. But from my point of view, it's too expensive. That car, it's around, they should be around 8,000 euros maximum without VAT. So with VAT, no, I don't know, the price tag, the real price tag for a Dongfeng Spring, it should be around 10,000 euros without VAT. Okay, so that's my opinion. I'm wrong here, but if you want a decent normal electric car that could run for hundreds of thousands of kilometers, that will have 8 years or 160 kilometers an hour warranty for the battery, and will have almost 50 kilowatt hour battery, definitely should go for the Inster, because or for Puma Gen E, generation electric, Puma, that it's 24,000 euros with the incentive, so it's around 8,000 euros more. But Puma, it's a more complete car. I review it on the demo car, and actually it's quite good, because it has a normal inside, it's a normal Puma, so it's bigger inside. The width is bigger compared with the Inster. But the Inster, it's a top of the line electric car for the guys that actually want, as I told you, an upgrade for a Dacia Spring, or they don't want to pay for the technology and the problems of French cars, electric cars made in France. And I'm talking here about Stellantis, I'm talking about Opel, Corsa, Peugeot 208, I'm talking about the new e-C3, I'm talking about the whole range of Renault E-Tech cars that all have some kind of problems from my point of view. So the best electric car in the world still remains Tesla Model 3 or Model Y. Not X. It's dubious. I don't want to promote X, because X is quite strange. But if you want performance, space, range, go for the S dual motor, which was 670 horsepower and 100 kilowatt hour battery pack. But the build quality on the X and S are lower than the new Y. The new Y is quite a blockbuster, and the car is quite big. But if you like to make a very long journeys on the highway, we are showing you the highway, go for the Y Model 3 dual motor, and that's it, made in China. It's top of the line. But if you want a normal car for day-to-day driving, not to pay the insurance of a Tesla car, you don't, if you want to have the blame of driving a Tesla car now after Elon Musk problems with Dodge in USA and every anti-European feeling made by Elon Musk towards the European nations, definitely go for a Hyundai Inster, because it's a small car, it's a very efficient car. The fuel consumption is around 10 kilowatt hour per 100 kilometers. And if you drive it only city driving, normal city driving without the heater on, Hyundai says it has over 500 kilometers of range, so the real fuel consumption will be 8 or 9 kilowatt hour per 100 kilometers. Thus, the car, it's actually quite very well built, it's decent, it has good performance, and of course you have the warranty of a car being made in South Korea, so it's better than the Hyundai that are made in USA or European market. This is a Korean model, so it's built 100% in Korea. So this Inster is the same Inster that actually South Korean will buy from a dealership from Seoul. And that's important. That's an important thing, because all Hyundai and Kia cars that are made in South Korea are better compared with other factories, other Kia or Hyundai models made on other continents by other factories. So this is a blockbuster. This is the car that actually VW hates. This is a car that Ford hates. This is a car that Stellantis hates, because everybody makes fun of the design of the back, especially the back. But actually last week I've tested the new Santa Fe plug-in, and oh, it's an ugly car. Everybody said it's an ugly car, and after 1 week I say it's a decent car. You have to get used to that. The same with the Inster. Inside it's quite normal compared with other problematic cars made by Europeans or Chinese. Of course, Chinese have only one car capable of competing with this one. It's called Leapmotor T03, a car that has an LFP battery. This is a lithium battery, so it's better. The battery, it's better. The life cycles of this battery, is better than this one. But this one, it's made by South Koreans. In South Korea, this is not a Chinese battery, so you'll have definitely in 10 years or 15 years more build quality on this Hyundai than on any other car. And of course, BYD doesn't have a direct competitor. Leapmotor, it's too expensive. It's made in China. It has some taxes because it's made in China, not in Europe. And the Japanese also doesn't have any car to compete with this one. So actually, this is the most important EV car of the year. So this is why we made this review. This is why we actually requested this Inster from our partner Hyundai Roadhill in Romania, the biggest Ford and Hyundai dealership in Romanian market, because this car actually it matters. So of course we have Uber drivers here and Bolt drivers. I definitely recommend you, if you have an hybrid system with an LPG system and make an Uber, definitely go for this one, because if you put the right seat in the front, you have a lot of space for the passenger. So this is a spot on, very normal car, very build quality, very good build quality, and the warranty of being made in South Korea, that is the most important thing. So this is a small car, city car. Definitely you could go outside the city with no problems. But of course the most important thing of this Insta is that it's cheap, powerful, and has a big battery. Thank you.